First vocabulary phrase, it is to panic under pressure. Have you ever been in a situation where all of a sudden you had to make a decision right away and it was really important? How did you react? Did you calmly say, all right, here's our decision, we're gonna do this? Or did you panic under pressure? I don't know, I need to think about it. Sorry, I really can't think right now. My brain is just not working. That is panicking under pressure. And you know what? It happens to the best of us. Some of us just panic under pressure more than others, but we've all done it. In the conversation with Dan, we were talking about, do men or women panic under pressure more? We had some different opinions about this. You'll have to watch the full video to find out. Take a look at this sentence. Instead of panicking under pressure, you should take a few deep breaths and try to relax. Good idea. Easier said than done though, right? All right, we are going to watch the clip from the original conversation where Dan and I used this phrase to panic under pressure. Not only is this proof that this is used in real life conversations, but also it can give you the kind of context that you need so that you can understand it really clearly the next time that you hear it in a movie or TV show. Let's watch.
Also, men are like a little more like less likely to panic under pressure.
Oh, okay.
So like, you're driving, there's cars all around you. I think in general, a man is less likely to freak out in that situation. Also, men are like a little more like less likely to panic under pressure.
Oh, okay.
So like, you're driving, there's cars all around you. I think in general, a man is less likely to freak out in that situation.
The second daily life phrase is to freak out. This is a very casual phrase, but we do use this in daily conversation. Let's take a look at an example. In the conversation, we said, I think in general, a man is less likely to freak out in that situation. Now, we talked about panicking under pressure. We have the same idea here. To freak out, I can't make a decision, I don't know what to do. And we had some different opinions about this as well. Do you freak out when you have to make an important decision, or can you calmly decide what to do? I'm sure we have all freaked out at one point or another. Take a look at this sentence. He saw a lot of traffic and began to freak out because he realized he might miss his interview. Well, that is a situation that would be pretty stressful. You can't change the traffic and you really want the job, so you might freak out. All right, let's watch how this was used in the original conversation.
So like, you're driving, there's cars all around you. I think in general, a man is less likely to freak out in that situation.
Okay.
Certainly I'm a little biased because my dad was the driver in my house. So like, you're driving, there's cars all around you. I think in general, a man is less likely to freak out in that situation.
Okay.
Certainly I'm a little biased because my dad was the driver in my house.
Real life English phrase number 3 is one that you probably have experienced. That is a backseat driver. Ugh, there's nothing more frustrating. In the conversation, Dan and I were talking about who usually drives in our car. Usually Dan drives and I am in the passenger seat, but sometimes it's switched. When I drive, it's pretty frustrating because Dan becomes a backseat driver. Oh, stop there. Oh, did you see this car? You should slow down a little bit. Just be quiet. I know how to drive. So technically, Dan is in the passenger seat. He's not in the back seat, but we still use this phrase to talk about the person who's not driving giving annoying driving instructions. Has that ever happened to you? Have you ever been driving and you had to say, stop being a backseat driver. I know how to drive. I'm sure it's happened to all of us. All right, let's watch the original clip so that you can hear how we used it.
Yeah, it actually drives me insane to be in the passenger seat while she's driving. Not because she's a bad driver, but because there might be an expression that you've heard of, I'm a backseat driver. Backseat driver?
Yes.
Yeah.
Even though you're not in the back seat.
Yeah. Yeah, it actually drives me insane to be in the passenger seat while she's driving. Not because she's a bad driver, but because there might be an expression that you've heard of, I'm a backseat driver. Backseat driver?
Yes.
Yeah.
Even though you're not in the back seat.
Yeah.
The next real life phrase is a multitasker. We can kind of get the sense for this word just based on its parts. Multi means a lot. Tasker is someone who does things. Someone who does a lot of things. In the conversation with Dan, he confessed, I am not a good multitasker. He can focus on something and do it well, and you probably saw this in the conversation video. He kept doing the same thing again and again, cutting the cheese, cutting the cheese, cutting the cheese, cutting the fruit, instead of doing various things at one time. Take a look at this sentence. When I became a mom, I had to become a multitasker. I would hold my son and cook dinner at the same time. I am dividing my attention between him and cooking dinner. I think this has happened to every mom in the history of humanity, and it's happened to a lot of people as well. I want to know, are you a good multitasker? Or maybe you are a multitasker out of necessity. If you're a mom, maybe you're not good at it, but you have to do it. So you become better, you grow that skill a bit. Okay, let's watch how this was used in the original conversation.
Yeah, what was I thinking about again?
Multitasking. Can you?
No, I'm particularly not a very good multitasker. So that doesn't help my case. But
Okay.
yeah, what was I thinking about again?
Multitasking. Can you?
No, I'm particularly not a very good multitasker. So that doesn't help my case. But
Okay.
The next daily life phrase is 50-50. Well, what is a whole 100%? Half of that, 50. Half of that, 50. So 50-50 creates a whole, and here we're talking about dividing something equally. If I asked you, who cooks dinner in your house? You might say, well, it's definitely not 50-50. I cook dinner most of the time. Okay, you are admitting that it is not equal. You cook dinner more than the other people in your house. Or maybe you would say, actually, it's kind of 50-50. Some nights I cook, some nights he cooks. Okay, you're dividing the task equally. Just a quick little note about the pronunciation. When we say 50, the T changes to a D sound in American English. So listen when I say it. 50-50. This is the same as the word party. I'm going to a birthday party. We're going to change that T into a D sound. I went to 50 parties. Can you say that sentence? I went to 50 parties. That's too much in my opinion, but maybe you're that kind of person. All right, let's watch the original clip.
Women are more organized.
I feel like this one could be 50-50. Pretty easily.
Okay.
And I'm just looking at my own personal life.
Women are more organized.
I feel like this one could be 50-50. Pretty easily.
Okay.
And I'm just looking at my own personal life.
The next real life English phrase is to splurge on. Notice the pronunciation here, to splurge. Splurge on. What if I said to you, once a month my husband and I go on a date night and we splurge on popcorn and candy at the movie theater? Well, I don't know about in your country, but in the US, popcorn and candy at the movie theater are really expensive. They are disgustingly expensive. But when you're there, sometimes you just gotta splurge on extra treats. So the idea here is that you are spending money on something that maybe you don't need, maybe something that feels like something special. So in the conversation with Dan, we said that men sometimes splurge on bigger items that cost more money, and maybe women splurge on less expensive items. Now, this may not be true. You might disagree with this, but we were talking about the difference in spending habits. What do you think? Do you think men or women splurge more? Let me know in the comments. All right, let's watch the original clip from the conversation.
The women I know buy the necessary items and the occasional unnecessary items, but men splurge on like big things that could possibly waste a lot of money. The women I know buy the necessary items and the occasional unnecessary items, but men splurge on like big things that could possibly waste a lot of money.
The next daily life phrase is an outlet. Now, we often use the word outlet to describe this item, where you plug things into, but instead we're going to take it a little more figuratively. Take a look at this sentence. When he lost his job, he joined a boxing gym, and that really became an outlet for him when he felt angry. Okay, what is he doing at the gym? He's getting his anger out by punching. He's not going out into the world and doing something destructive. He is putting his anger in one place. So boxing became an outlet for his anger. I think it's a pretty healthy way to channel your anger. He's pretty angry about losing his job. So here we're talking about a way to get it out. Get out your anger, get out some kind of feeling. So in the conversation with Dan, we were talking about emotional support and how when a couple breaks up, women generally have more emotional support with their friends than men do. Women are more likely to talk about it together, complain about it together, get angry about it together, and men might be less likely to express their feelings together. Not that that's a good thing, but we were saying that men don't have an outlet for their feelings. So there's been some studies that say when men and women break up, it's sometimes harder for men because they don't have an outlet for that emotional feeling that they're feeling. Women have more of an emotional outlet, but men don't. So you get this figurative sense that there is some energy, some feelings that need to get expressed, whether it's through boxing or talking to friends. All right, let's watch how it was originally used in the conversation.
Adult topic here. The suicide rate is highest for men. And maybe that's similar. I don't know if this is just me hypothesizing, but men don't have that outlet when they're going through hard times. They might not have that like vulnerability. Adult topic here. The suicide rate is highest for men. And maybe that's similar. I don't know if this is just me hypothesizing, but men don't have that outlet when they're going through hard times. They might not have that like vulnerability.
The next daily life English phrase is one that I love. It is to rise to the occasion. Let me give you a sample sentence here from something that I experienced, and I want you to try to guess what this means. When my husband and I went to see a play recently, one of the lead characters was sick. The actors was sick. So what were they going to do? Well, one of the other actors took her place, and she just rose to the occasion and sang all the songs, said all the lines. She was ready. She just rose to the occasion. Well, we can kind of get the sense with this phrase that there is some kind of difficult time going on, and you are being strong during the difficult time. Now, maybe you are not always courageous. Maybe you are not always taking the lead, but when there's a difficult time, you can rise to the occasion. Just like that actor did. She took the place of the lead actor. She rose to the occasion. I can do this. And she did such a fantastic job. It was so impressive. In the conversation with Dan, we were talking about men and women and who fixes things around the house more. We both agreed that generally when things are broken, a man fixes things more than women, but I said that I know plenty of single women who rise to the occasion and they fix everything. They don't have anyone else to ask to help them, so they do it. So it's not that women are, in my opinion, not capable of doing it, but we love to have the man in our life be the one to fix the things. So women can rise to the occasion and fix the dishwasher, mow the lawn, do those types of things when we need to. Just my opinion. All right, let's watch the original clip so that you can see how we used to rise to the occasion, or in the past tense, like you just heard me use, rose to the occasion. Let's watch.
I know plenty of single women who do everything and fix everything. So I feel like women's skill is rising to the occasion. You gave birth, you got a baby, you're healing, you got to feed that baby, you do it. I know plenty of single women who do everything and fix everything. So I feel like women's skill is rising to the occasion. You gave birth, you got a baby, you're healing, you got to feed that baby, you do it.
The next real life English phrase is absolutely one that you will not see in a textbook. It is and whatnot. Take a look at how we used it in the conversation with Dan. Dan said, once you realize that Vanessa likes the counter cleaned, you'll clean it off and whatnot. This is added to the end of a sentence to imply that there is a further list. Maybe you will clean off the counter, you'll put the things away, you'll wipe the counter, and then say, look what I did, I cleaned the counter. So here we're using and whatnot to imply that there is a further list. Take a look at this. As a nanny, I took care of the children, but I also cleaned and cooked and did some things around the house and whatnot. Okay, I'm implying that there are other tasks that I did. This is a great one that you will hear in movies and TV shows, and it's sometimes those small phrases that can really color your vocabulary and color your sentences when you speak as well. All right, let's watch the original clip.
The counter is a mess. I will clock that, I'll notice that, but Dan might not notice it. But once you know, like, oh, Vanessa really cares about the counter being clean, then, you'll clean it and take care of it and whatnot. The counter is a mess. I will clock that, I'll notice that, but Dan might not notice it. But once you know, like, oh, Vanessa really cares about the counter being clean, then, you'll clean it and take care of it and whatnot.
The next real life English phrase is a weight off my shoulders. We're not talking about really carrying something physically heavy. It's more something emotionally heavy. For example, when I finally confronted her about what made me angry, I felt a weight off my shoulders and suddenly I wasn't angry about it anymore. So here there is this anger that's weighing me down. Oh, it's so hard to carry around. And then when I confronted her, it felt like all of that pressure was gone. The weight was off my shoulders. How lovely. I need to give you another real life right now example. Right now, our lovely babysitter is watching my 2-year-old this morning so that I can make these lessons for you. And this has been delayed a lot. I have been sick for a few weeks. Then my kids were sick, and then there was lots of bad weather, and it made it hard for my kids to be outside for long periods so that I could make lessons for you. A lot of things got in the way of me making this lesson for you. And there was kind of a weight on my shoulders. I knew that I needed to make this lesson, but I just couldn't find the time to do it. And then today, our babysitter is here. She is watching my 2-year-old. The house is quiet. I can finally make this lesson for you. So I can say, making this lesson today feels like a weight off my shoulders. It is almost finished, and we are here almost at the end, except for our bonus phrase. But first, let's take a look at the original conversation to see how we used a weight off my shoulders.
For me, when our house is clean, I feel so good. There's like something deep within my soul that feels
Good.
cleansed, like relieved. There's a weight that's off of my shoulders. Anyway, that's how I feel. For me, when our house is clean, I feel so good. There's like something deep within my soul that feels
Good.
cleansed, like relieved. There's a weight that's off of my shoulders. Anyway, that's how I feel.
Our bonus phrase today is to push through. We are not pushing through some doors. Instead, we have some difficult, metaphorically difficult times in our life. And what are we doing? Are we just sitting back and, oh, I can't do anything. Oh, it's so hard. No, you are pushing through. You are going to survive those difficult times. You're going to get through those difficult times. So you could say something like this. How are you going to work when you've only had 2 hours of sleep? Well, I'm just going to push through the day. Yep, you're probably going to be tired all day, but that's the only thing you can do is just push through the day. In the conversation with Dan, we were talking about going through hardships, and I said that for women, when we're really busy, when things are going on, we are still generally pretty productive. We still have to make dinner, get the kids to soccer practice, make sure that the clothes are clean. We are going to push through all of our tiredness, all of the busyness, and still get things done. That's generally how it goes, especially if you are a responsible adult. And hopefully you have a lot of support from the other people in your family. But in my example, I was talking about how when there are difficult times, women have the strength to be able to push through them. And if you are a man, of course, you can also push through difficult times. You'll have to see our original conversation to get all of the nuance and ideas that we were talking about. All right, now let's watch the original clip so that you can see how to push through was used.
Yeah, but then they're still going to make dinner and still going to blah, 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 and still going to like pick up the kids from soccer and like do all those things and push through instead of
I'm not saying women
checking
are
out.
strong.
And I think the stereotype is that men would like check out. Yeah, but then they're still going to make dinner and still going to blah, 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 and still going to like pick up the kids from soccer and like do all those things and push through instead of
I'm not saying women
checking
are
out.
strong.
And I think the stereotype is that men would like check out.
Well, great work practicing these 10 plus 1 bonus real life